prefigures Christ's once-for-all death, prophecy, and fulfillment. Throughout the Old Testament, God's redemptive plan for humanity is intricately woven into various rituals and ceremonies. These foreshadowings, or prophecies, provide glimpses of the coming Messiah and his ultimate sacrifice for the salvation of mankind. One such prophecy is found in Leviticus 16 verses 15 to 17, where the Day of Atonement is described, and the high priest enters the most holy place to make atonement for the people's sins. Little did the Israelites know that this sacred ritual would serve as a prefiguring of the once-for-all death of Jesus Christ, the promised Messiah. The fulfillment is revealed in the New Testament book of Hebrews, specifically in Hebrews 9 verses 7 to 14, where the author draws a parallel between the earthly Day of Atonement and Christ's sacrificial death on the cross. The connection between these two passages illuminates the significance of Jesus Christ as the fulfillment of the ancient prophecy, offering his own blood as the ultimate and final atonement for sin, providing redemption and eternal salvation to all who believe. Leviticus 16 verses 15 to 17. The prophecy. In the book of Leviticus, God instructs the Israelites on the observance of the Day of Atonement, an annual sacred ritual carried out by the high priest. During this solemn occasion, the high priest enters the most holy place in the tabernacle, carrying the blood of a bull and a goat, to make atonement for the sins of the people. Then he shall kill the goat of the sin offering that is for the people and bring its blood inside the veil and do with its blood as he did with the blood of the bull, sprinkling it over the mercy seat and in front of the mercy seat. Thus he shall make atonement for the holy place because of the uncleannesses of the people of Israel and because of their transgressions, all their sins. And so he shall do for the tent of meeting, which dwells with them in the midst of their uncleannesses. No one may be in the tent of meeting from the time he enters to make atonement in the holy place until he comes out and has made atonement for himself and for his house and for all the assembly of Israel. In this prophecy, the Day of Atonement serves as a temporary and symbolic means of reconciling the people with God, atoning for their sins through the shedding of animal blood. This foreshadows the coming of the Messiah, who would offer himself as the ultimate and final atonement for the sins of humanity. Hebrews 9 verses 7 to 14. The fulfillment. In the New Testament book of Hebrews, the fulfillment of Leviticus 16 verses 15 to 17 is unveiled through an exposition on the superiority of Christ's sacrificial death. In Hebrews 9 verses 7 to 14, the author draws a parallel between the earthly Day of Atonement and the redemptive work of Christ. But into the second only the high priest goes, and he but once a year, and not without taking blood, which he offers for himself and for the unintentional sins of the people. By this, the Holy Spirit indicates that the way into the holy places is not yet opened as long as the first section is still standing, which is symbolic for the present age. According to this arrangement, gifts and sacrifices are offered that cannot perfect the conscience of the worshipper, but deal only with food and drink and various washings, regulations for the body imposed until the time of Reformation. But when Christ appeared as a high priest of the good things that have come, then through the greater and more perfect tent, not made with hands, that is, not of this creation, he entered once for all into the holy place, not by means of the blood of goats and calves but by means of his own blood, thus securing eternal redemption. For if the blood of goats and bulls, and the sprinkling of defiled persons with the ashes of a heifer, sanctify for the purification of the flesh, how much more will the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without blemish to God, purify our conscience from dead works to serve the living God. In this fulfillment, the author of Hebrews emphasizes the superior efficacy of Christ's sacrifice, which surpasses the temporary and symbolic sacrifices of the Old Covenant. Christ, as the ultimate high priest, enters the heavenly most holy place with his own blood, securing eternal redemption and cleansing the conscience of believers from sin. Teachings and day-to-day applications. The prophecy in Leviticus 16 verses 15 to 17 and its fulfillment in Hebrews 9 verses 7 to 14 carry profound teachings and applications for believers. The ultimate and final atonement. The fulfillment emphasizes that Christ's sacrifice is the ultimate and final atonement for sin, surpassing the temporary sacrifices of the Old Covenant. The superiority of Christ's sacrifice. The prophecy and fulfillment highlight the superiority of Christ's sacrificial death, which brings eternal redemption and purification from sin. The once-for-all nature of Christ's sacrifice. The fulfillment points to the once-for-all nature of Christ's sacrifice, in contrast to the annual repetition of the Day of Atonement. The cleansing power of Christ's blood. The fulfillment underscores the cleansing power of Christ's blood, purifying the conscience of believers and enabling them to serve the living God. Eternal redemption. The fulfillment proclaims the reality of eternal redemption through Christ's sacrifice, offering believers the assurance of salvation and reconciliation with God. In day-to-day life, the understanding of this prophecy and its fulfillment deepens believers' appreciation for the redemptive work of Jesus Christ. It inspires gratitude for his once-for-all sacrifice, which provides complete forgiveness and cleansing from sin. Moreover, it motivates us to approach God with confidence and assurance, knowing that we are accepted and redeemed through the blood of Christ. Furthermore, it encourages us to walk in holiness and obedience, serving the living God with reverence and gratitude for his unfathomable gift of salvation. Conclusion. The prophecy in Leviticus 16 verses 15 to 17, depicting the Day of Atonement and the high priest's role in making atonement for the sins of the people, finds its profound fulfillment in the New Testament, as revealed in Hebrews 9 verses 7 to 14. This remarkable fulfillment points to Jesus Christ as the ultimate high priest, offering his own blood as the once-for-all atonement for sin, securing eternal redemption for all who believe. As we reflect on this prophecy and its fulfillment, we are reminded of the superior efficacy of Christ's sacrifice and the assurance of eternal redemption that it provides. May we continually approach God with boldness and gratitude, confident in the cleansing power of Christ's blood, and may we live our lives as a living testimony of his once-for-all sacrifice, shining his light and love to a world in need of his saving grace.